Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the 2023 State of the County. We love hearing the conversation and we want it to continue, but we would love if it continued at a table. If you are unsure where to sit, there are several open tables along the perimeter. Great opportunity to make new acquaintances. The President and CEO of the Noblesville Chamber of Commerce. And I'm thrilled today to also be joined with our sister chambers here in Hamilton County. Our friends from One Zone and their affiliate, the Northern Hamilton County Chamber, are here, and we appreciate their attendance today, as well as the Westfield Chamber of Commerce. And we appreciate their support, not only with being here today, but also volunteering and helping us market out this event. And so we say thank you for your service. Today's event is not just a large lunch where you come and enjoy it. It takes an awful lot of preparation, and I know that Commissioner Dillinger and his team has been working on this presentation today for well over 2 months. I know you've been looking forward to this presentation for 12 months since we gathered in this room last time. But I would like to say thank you to the 4-H Fairgrounds for all of their support, the Hamilton County facilities staff who have been fantastic at helping us get situated for this event. One of our newer friends, Laundry on the Way, Bree Miner, who I believe is in the room, a new laundry service that helped us prepare the table coverings for today, and she's a new business in town, and we wish her great success. And of course, all of our volunteers that are here greeting people at the doors and helping us set these tables and clear these tables at the end of the day. We're so grateful for your support. Today is made possible through sponsorship, and that's how we help keep our costs down for this event to make it reasonable for you to attend. And so we're thrilled to have Hamilton County Tourism as our lead sponsor today. They do wonderful, yes, it's really okay to applaud for our sponsors. And they have a wonderful contingent here today in the center of the room. We appreciate what Hamilton County Tourism does each and every day to make Hamilton County fantastic, showcase how wonderful we are, help being strategic and think about how we grow as a county in the area of tourism, sports, entertainment. I've had a chance to see it from the inside, and it's a pretty sophisticated organization. You may see only the sizzle on the outside, but there's a lot of smart thinking behind that. And so we just appreciate the partnership that Hamilton County Tourism has with everything we do in the county, but particularly for today's event. You helped make it possible. If you are a table host or table sponsor, you also are critically important to making this event possible, and so we thank each and every one of you. Please take a look at the program to see those folks. If you know some of the leaders in those organizations, say thank you for their support today. They're also on the screens out on the outside here. Our meal today is presented by Clancy's Hospitality Group, Clancy's Catering. Our friends from Michelangelo's and Grindstones are here. So we have 3 buffet lines. We're getting right into the mechanics there. We have 3 buffet lines that we will release tables to. If you are gluten-free, the prime rib, the green beans, and the salad with balsamic vinaigrette dressing, those are gluten-free items, if that's important to you. For those that ordered special meals, I think you were notified by card, and I believe that those meals will be available. My wife Natalie's in the back with those meals for you. So I think there's 15 of those, so we'll take care of that. We want you to continue your conversation. You have numbers on your table, and if you haven't rearranged the numbers, they indicate a year. If you rearrange, I guess any way you rearrange them, it can indicate a year, but there are specific when we put them down. That is meant to stimulate a conversation. This is our bicentennial year, and we want you to have a conversation about that particular year around your table. Just be a quick thought. We don't expect you to remember it if you're in the 1800s, by the way, because that would be wrong. But we want you to just use that as a conversation starter about what Hamilton County may have looked like in that particular year. So we're going to move on to lunch. And feel free to rearrange the numbers any way you want. You can go back to the 800s, I guess, and try to figure out what Hamilton County looked like then. We're going to let you get back to conversation, and we're going to start releasing tables for lunch, and we'll be back at noon for the presentation. Thank you. One of the things I want to draw your attention to is on the table you have materials that we have left. One is, I believe you have Hamilton County's bicentennial event calendar, and we still have half the year to go. There's lots of great events in Hamilton County, and July in particular is Noblesville's, because it's Noblesville's bicentennial as well, so we're celebrating both of those. We just draw your attention to that. The historical display that is over here, after the presentation today, it's worth a read. It's fascinating, and if you lived here a long time, it'll a chance to reminisce a little bit. If you're new to Hamilton County, great chance to put Hamilton County in perspective for you. We also want to draw attention to the fact that we did have those numbers on your table indicated something, and the table with 1989, I believe right in the back, I think our superintendent of schools, Dr. Heil and his team, won meals, ice cream at Alexander's on the Square or Alexander's up on the lake, and so congratulations for that. But there's a reason why we picked 1989, because today we're going to be reflecting on Hamilton County and Commissioner Dillinger's leadership, as well as his compatriots, and he's been in service since 1989. That's when he was first elected here, and so that's extraordinary service to Hamilton County. And so we know you all had years on your table that were important. We want to make sure that you recognize that in 1989, that was Commissioner Dillinger's first year of service with us. And so thank you very much for that. And congratulations. Maybe you should invite the commissioner over for ice cream when you go out to Alexander's. I also want to make mention that our friends from Hamilton County Television, Jim Wofford, Logan Street Signs and Banners on the back, he's recording today's event. It will be available today on his streaming platform to watch, including the slide deck. And so on your tables is a small card and QR code that you can take and scan that, and that'll get you access to his viewing platforms. It also is a wonderful place to go and watch youth sports, and a lot of government access is on there as well. We have the U.S. Army Recruiting Office in the back, and we are appreciative of their service. We are engaging with them in several different ways. If you have a young adult who is curious about military service, I know that our gentleman in the back would really love to connect with you and obviously connect with your child or your neighbor. So stop by. And also over in the corner is the Senior Center organization. And the Senior Center organization is right here in Noblesville. And they were established in 1978. And they wanted to make sure that we let you know that they are fully member-operated center, all volunteers. It provides extensive social, physical, and mental stimulation for our members, all who have supported civic and scholastic endeavors in the larger community throughout their lives. Mm-hmm. The Senior Center is in an interesting point in their development, and they're getting some exciting plans, and they'd love to have you stop by their table and pick up some materials and learn about the services that they offer to seniors in our community, because that is a significant growing population. And then lastly, because it is a chamber event, on your table is a little stanchion with a QR code that says Quick Access Menu. That will take you to a place on our website where you can make nominations for two things. One is our Women in Noblesville Woman of Impact Award, and those nominations close, I believe, on July 16th, and that will be presented in a luncheon at Mustard Seed on August 23rd. And there's a little bit of information about our speaker there. But if you know of a woman who has made tremendous impact, in particular on the Noblesville community, we'd love to have that nomination come forward. And then the other is our Advancing Noblesville Chamber Foundation, which does good work in the community. We have several of our board members here. They partner with the City of Noblesville on the Advancing Noblesville Awards. These are recognizing businesses, organizations, and individuals that are doing fantastic work here in our community. Those nominations are open till the end of July, and we would welcome your nominations for that as well. They will be presented on November 16th at an evening event at Harbor Trees Golf Club, and that'll be the second year for those awards. So everything else, you have information on your tables. You can read it and look at it at your own time. And I guess without further ado, we will invite our main act up. We're thrilled and honored to be able to help prepare this event today. And Commissioner Dillinger, we're grateful for how much effort and energy that you and your team put into making today possible to share this news with the business community and the broader community here. And so thank you for your leadership.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you for the show.
Thank you all for being here. I'm very humbled by the crowd that we have today. I'm also humbled. We have a lot of state elected officials with us today, and thank you very much for joining us. Bob promised me I'd be on stage and ready to go by 12 o'clock. He's 10 minutes late. Just thought I'd point that out. Okay, we got a problem. The monitor's not turning. Carly? Where are you? Oh, there you are. I told him if my IT stuff goes down, this is going to be the shortest State of the County speech that you've ever heard in your life. While she's doing that, I'll make a couple of comments. You know, the first county, State of the County talk was given in 1989. That was done over the bowling alley on State Road 32. The thing that was big on that day was the legislature had just passed the state lottery bill. It's the first day that you could buy a state lottery ticket. So everyone was all excited about that. I think we had a total of around 34 people at that event, and today we have in excess of 400 today. So we've come a long way with the county organizational speech. This is also, as Bob said, the bicentennial position of the county, meaning 200-year birthday. The Bicentennial Committee, and I have slides on this, but I can't get to them yet. The Bicentennial Committee have put together a lot of things for the different townships and a commemorative book, and you can get online and find out all the things they have planned throughout the county. Are we there yet, Carly? Just about? Yep, we are. Doing? It'll take a minute to load? Okay. Can I go to the first part of it? Okay, I got through that part. Because it is our bicentennial is the reason that I named this speech the way we were. Because we are 200 years old. The county was established in 1823. This is a picture of the centennial celebration for Hamilton County, which was our 100th-year birthday. None of us was around then, I don't think, but they did celebrate that. And this is the bicentennial thing that we were just talking about. I'll see if I can't catch up. I want to thank Bob Du Bois and his committee for putting this together. This is not easy to put together, guys. I mean, it looks easy, but it's not. And Bob, we appreciate all that you do and your team to put this together. Thank you. I also want to thank these two men, Senator Scott Baldwin and John Barbie. They are the owners of Envoy Incorporated. And they were gracious enough to loan me for the last 2 months as we were putting this together, Carly Mangus, which you just met, Spencer Sharp, and Charles Rhodes. These kids had a computer when they were in kindergarten. I had a computer when I was 50. So everything that you're going to see is with their imagination, and then these two folks from Hamilton County, Dustin Tishner, which is our asset manager at our highway department, and Byron Settles, which is the media specialist for Hamilton County Plan Commission. I cannot tell you how much work these folks have put in this, because this is a 2-month process. I'm sure they will be so happy when this day is over, because I went into Carly last week and I had a list of 48 things I want changed. I've called her 4 times this morning with things that I want changed. So I'm sure she'll be real happy when I get off her back. I want to talk about campaigning with integrity for just a minute. You know, with the things that's going on, particularly in the federal election process, I don't know about you all, but I get kind of offended. And I think it gives government a bad name, very honestly. I don't think that you have to talk about how bad your opponent is to say that you should be elected. I've ran 20 campaigns, and I've never once said anything bad about any of my opponents. I coached football for 25 years, and what was as important to me as winning was us winning the sportsmanship award each year from these young men. I feel the same way about politics. So for you young people that's running for city council here in the fall and all the elections that's going to happen next year, Hamilton County is better than that. And my model is making someone look bad doesn't make you look any better. So I'll get off my bandwagon, but I felt it was very important to say that because I think that we discourage people's confidence in government when you campaign that way. And I would hope that we're better than doing that. I want to give a special thanks to Fred Glenn, who went off the council at the end of last year, and especially Steve Swartz, who also went off the council last year. Steve particularly, a lot of the things I'm going to show you today, he had an intricate part in that. And both these men added a lot to our organization. I also want to recognize Dan Stevens. Most of you know Dan. Dan started with the Sheriff's Department back when the sheriff's department was in the old jail right next to the hospital, or no, next to the old courthouse. He was a dispatcher then, is that correct, Dan? And he worked himself up through the ranks and ultimately become a two-term sheriff. When he retired from the sheriff's department, we, the commissioners, hired him as our director of administration for the county, of which he served with us for 13 years. Did a fabulous job. Dan decided he wanted to retire in March, and we hated to see him go, but we want to wish him well in his retirement. And in his retirement, we replaced him with this man. Whoops. Lee Buckingham. You may recognize Lee as well. He was our prosecutor for 12 years and with the prosecutor's office for 20-some years. When he left the prosecutor's office last year, we hired him as director of administration for the county. So he has a lot to learn. He's working really hard and doing a great job. I also want to thank this man. When I first became a commissioner, Steve Holt and I hired Mike Howard as our county attorney. And he served as our county attorney for 34 years and also the city attorney for most of that time. His legal opinions and work with the county has been invaluable over the years. Mike decided that he wanted to kind of semi-retire last year, so we've kept him on as the Drainage Board attorney and the Hamilton County Airport Authority attorney, and as a consultant for our new attorney, which is Connor Sullivan. Connor is a young lawyer that is working extremely hard, and we are paying Mike to consult with Connor and help him through a challenging time. The commissioners are a little different form of government. We are the executive and legislative branch of government. We all live in a district. You have to live in that district to run for a seat, but we're all elected at large. So that means that all of the entire county gets to vote on all of our positions. We are also the Board of Finance. We are also the Drainage Board, which can be very challenging sometimes. We are the soon-to-be Regional Utility District Board, and we also serve as part of the board for the solid waste. Christine Altman was a councilman. She's been a commissioner since 2003. Mark Harebrant has been he's our vice president this year, has been with the commissioners since 2013. And I'm sure all of you know Mark has an enormous amount of energy. You see him everywhere. Sometimes you see him two places at the same time. You may wonder how that happens, but I'm going to show you what my idea is in just a little bit. I served 4 years on the Noblesville City Council, 4 years on the County Council, and I've been a commissioner since 1989. This is our County Council. They are the fiscal branch of county government. Tim Griffin, who is a newly elected councilman. Amy Masalami. Mark Hall's another new councilman. Ken Alexander. Brad Beaver, which is one of our longest-term councilmen. Sue Mackey. And Steve Nation. And I'll get back to Steve in a little bit. Like I say, they are a fiscal branch of government, and they've done a very wonderful job of managing our finances. Hamilton County is privileged to have over $50 million in reserves and rainy day funds, thanks to our county council. We are the only county with a AAA bond rating. That may not mean much to some of you, but it means a lot whenever we go to bond. We get a very favorable rate because of that bond rating. Contrary to belief, the county tax rate did not go up. Your county tax bill may have gone up, but it's because your property values went up, not because the county tax rate went up. In fact, the county has the 6th lowest property tax rate in the state of Indiana. Do you know who this man is? I have been asked probably 1,000 times in my life if I was related to him. Well, I thought I'd clear it up today. This is John Dillinger. He was public enemy #1 in the early 30s. He was shot down at the Biograph Theater in 1934. There's a lot of people who think there's a lot of similarity between what he does or did and what I do as a politician, but I can assure you we have nothing in common. So I just wanted to clear that up. He's my grandfather's first cousin. He's my third cousin. I thought this song was appropriate since this is the theme of my talk today. You know, a lot of things change over a 20, 30, 40-year period. As an example, this is where I grew up. This is 1451 Field Drive. This was a typical house when I was growing up in Noblesville. It was 900 square foot. There were 7 people living there, my mom and dad, my 2 brothers and 2 sisters. We had 3 bedrooms and 1 bath. And you know what? We thought everything was just fine. We didn't know any better. Things change. People change. This is my house today. It's 5,000 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 4.5 baths, and 2 people live in it. It makes no sense at all. But that's the way things change. People also change. As an example, Christine, when she was a little girl, this is indicative when she gets upset.
Never, ever talk to me like that. Do you hear me?
I think she's talking to Mark, actually.
Then listen.
But
And call me later.
then she cools off real quick as well. Through the years, this is Christine, and this is Christine today. The clicker's still not working very well. There it is. What you may not know is Mark has a twin brother. And you remember when I said sometimes he seemed like he was 2 places at once? This might be the reason. I'll let you figure that out for yourself. This is Mark as he's gotten older, and I have tagged him with the name of, if I can get it to come up, Junior. This is me as I was coming through high school playing ball. This is me as I was coaching 25 years on the grinders. And this is me as an older man. And I'm tagged with a tag from Mark as Grandpappy, since I'm the oldest commissioner. So when you hear that, you'll know who they're referring to. Our town has changed. This was the first courthouse in downtown Noblesville in the 1800s, before this courthouse was built. This is Teddy Roosevelt campaigning downtown. This is what the town looked like back in those days. The courthouse, we remodeled that in the mid-90s because it needs some upgrading. And we had to pick a time that we remodeled the inside to. So we picked, I think it was 1929. That's when the D.C. Stevenson trial was held in this courthouse. D.C. Stevenson was the head of the Ku Klux Klan, and he was on trial for murder of his secretary. A Hamilton County court convicted him in this courthouse, and it was the beginning of the demise of the Ku Klux Klan. So we took it back, the interior, to that date. Early, I can't, there it is. And that's a picture of what it looked like in the older times. Am I not doing something right, or has it not loaded? Okay. All right. This is a picture of the west side of the courthouse before we built the government center. And the club bar is about where the front doors are of the old, or of the new courthouse. That, and if you notice on the corner there, that's where Bolden's cleaners were. They ended up building about 2 blocks north of that on 9th Street, and if you saw in the paper, they are going out of business this month after 60-some years. And they've been an icon in this community, and we're certainly going to miss them. And this is where the government center is built today. Oops. Sorry, we're having this difficulty. Okay. This was on a Friday night when we were getting ready to pour the foundation for the government center. That was a huge deal in Noblesville at the time. John, I'm sure you'll remember that. We had concrete trucks backed up everywhere. Everybody was coming out. It was all lit up. It was a big deal. This is what the courthouse looks like today. This is the Fireman's Memorial. It's been made up a few years ago, and it's been in storage. And last Friday, we dedicated the memorial to put on the west side of the courthouse right here. This particular spot has a specific, the piece was designed to honor our fallen firefighters and to honor the people in 9/11. But this particular spot has an even more important place because a fireman by the name of Moeller from Fishers lost his life in 1967. I was standing right across the street. There was a fire on Halloween at Golke's car lot, which was right on that corner. And Mr. Moeller lost his life in that fire. So it's very appropriate that we place this memorial in his and the other firefighters' honor there. You'll notice across the street, I'm going to get back to that in a little bit. That was the old parking lot of the county, but we'll get to that in a little bit. This is the old sheriff's department and the changes that's been made over the years in that facility. That building is the old jail. It was built in 1976. Our detectives are housed in there now. Then we built the new jail in 93. We built the juvenile center in 2005, the community corrections facility in 2008, and then we added on to the jail in 2021. So this complex has served Hamilton County extremely well. Dan was sheriff through a lot of that. Zoning, when I became a commissioner, we had no zoning in the county. We had zoning in the cities, but we didn't have zoning in the counties. So Deer Creek bought some land out in Wayne Township, and the farmers went crazy. They didn't want anything like that out there. So they filled our courtroom every meeting, wanting us to put in zoning, which they didn't want before. So we put in zoning, but guess what? Deer Creek was grandfathered in, so it was in anyway. So they started building their amphitheater. And then they sold to Clips, and then they sold to Ruoff. And that's what it is today. It's one of the most popular outdoor events around. Let's talk about the growth of the city and counties. This is Noblesville in 1940. I'm going to give you the statistics between 1990 and census and the way we are today. Fishers, as an example, had 7,600 people in 1990. Today, they have about 102. Carmel had about 25,000. Today, they have about 102. Westfield only had about 3,300. And today, they have about 55,000. Noblesville had a population of around 18,000. Today, they're at almost 73,000. Well, if you've been adding that up, that totals 108,000 people back in 1990 census. Today, we're projected at being 364,000. That is a humongous growth, fastest growing county in the state of Indiana. And that's put a big challenge for a lot of the things we have done at the county level. This, I'm sure you don't recognize, but Hare Chevrolet has been around here for years and years. This was located uptown in the buggy days, and they've been around for years and years. They ultimately ended up on South 10th Street. Well, the county ended up buying them out, and they moved their car dealership out on 37. We took that and made it into our county highway department. Then we bought this building. This is just east of 37. This is where we put the health department and our county coroner until they outgrew that. Then we bought this building, which is the old Charles Howard building on Lakeview Drive, and we put the coroner and the parks department in this building. I'm sure you don't recognize this, but this is Old Riverview Hospital. It was located on North 9th in the 40s. Then they built the new one in the 50s west of town. And this is what Riverview, they changed their name to Riverview Health. Riverview is owned by the county, and so we appoint a 7-man board to oversee this. They've done a fantastic job. They recently just hired a new president and CEO, David Hyatt, which is here today, and Dave will be leading Riverview Hospital for the next few years, a lot of years, we hope. I'm sure you hope too, Dave. Let me talk a little bit about where you're sitting now, and that's the 4-H grounds. The 4-H facility is managed by our County Extension Director, Susan Peterson. This is what it looked like in 1974. There wasn't really too much to it, but we held our fair and we got along just fine. Well, the county's decided with the 4-H folks to do a $65 million upgrade of this grounds for facilities. Not in 1 year, but on a gradual basis. First phase, the council's given $15 million to do some improvements on the facility, to replace some buildings, etc. And this is part of the new, what they call the silo of 37 that will be built with that improvement. These are schematic drawings. And that's what the 4-H grounds here will look like when we're all completed with it. And I apologize for the delay in this. This is the old Humane Society, which used to be just down the road here across from the post office. They moved out of that and built a new place on Hague Road in Fishers that just opened up in the last couple of years. Very nice facility. They built this facility to last for 20 years. Well, I heard on television the other day they're already full, so I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do. But this is where they were located, in this building. We are going to place our household hazardous waste, our soil and water conservation, and weights and measures in that building. And we're remodeling that as we speak. And the reason we're doing that is because where those facilities are now have been bought by the city, and it's going to be part of the Pleasant Street expansion. Also part of the Pleasant Street expansion from the city, these 2 buildings were purchased in order to facilitate that from the fairgrounds. We're also going to build a new 911 dispatch center. We've outgrown our current center. We bought this acreage from the Mowry family. It's located across from the jail complex in 37. We're planning on putting also a child care center in there because, like everyone else, we really have issues with getting young people to come to work for us. And especially our deputies, our jailers, our dispatchers that are 24/7 type people. For them to find babysitters or even affordable, if they can find them, is almost impossible. So we're hoping that if we build a facility for them along with this, that we'll be able to attract younger people in. Our downtown parking garage, you will recall on the south side of the courthouse used to be our employee parking lot. Well, a developer bought that for $4.5 million from us, and then he bought McMillan's Auto Care on the corner, which looks like this. And that's what you're seeing now being built. The developer is building apartments, and there'll be some commercial in there and a parking garage. And if you look at the top of the screen over here, that's where our parking garage is. That used to be Metro Bank years ago. And that's what it looks like today. We started in May of 21 and completed it in May of 22. We spent $12.1 million on that facility. Again, $4.5 million of it came from the parking garage, and there were dedicated in 2022. This garage is basically for our employees and jurors right now. However, after 5:30, the public can park in it on weekends, holidays, and so it's been a big benefit of Noblesville to get all of our people off the streets so the merchants have places for their people to park. I want to talk about the Indianapolis Airport. It's actually the Hamilton County Airport. It used to be Terry Airport years ago. It's actually in Boone County, just across the Hamilton County line. Well, they wanted to sell, so they went to the Boone County Commissioners, and the Boone County Commissioners didn't want to buy it. So we jumped on it, and we said, we'll buy it. So this is the county's airport currently. And this shows the growth. This is during Super Bowl of 2012. You can see all the planes that flew into this airport. You can see all the improvements in the hangars. Beck built a really nice hangar there to facilitate their jets. We are also in the process of getting ready to build a new women's center. We've talked about this before, and we're partnering with Prevail because we have some real issues with this. We bought 9 acres out on 38, just west of town, for about $5.5 million or $550,000. The intent is, right now, we don't have anywhere to house our battered women and their children. We have to take them to Madison County or Marion County. We think Hamilton County is better than that. So we're partnering with Prevail in order to, and this is where the property is located, by the way. And this is some schematic designs. This is not ingrained in any kind of reality yet, but this is what's being proposed, with a center to help with the women, and then pods like this potentially. And they can live in these housings for up to 2 years. Let's talk about infrastructure a little bit. Brad Davis is the head of our highway department, and let's talk about 37. If you'll recall, this was a joint effort between the state, Hamilton County, Fishers, and Noblesville. This was the first intersection we opened, which was 126th Street. And we won all kinds of local governmental cooperation rewards because of the different governmental entities that put this together. This is the reason we did that, and this is a few years ago. You can imagine what it would be like today. In fact, you might see yourself sitting in this traffic jam. Like I say, our first intersection we completed was 126th Street, and we're heading north. This is what it looks like today. 131st Street is all completed. Then as we approach 135th Street, that's not an over and under, that's a right in, right out. That will not change. As we approach 141st Street, this is an intersection we bid out earlier this year, but it come in $13 million over budget. So we killed that, and we're going to rebid it later on. And then to complete it out, it's 146th Street, and that's as it is today. If you've traveled that at all, it is wonderful to be able to go down that highway. With that creates more problems, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this intersection, 146th and Allisonville. I know that it's down to one lane, but look at the traffic, and these pictures are probably 2 or 3 years old. So we had to do something with this intersection. And we're in the midst of constructing it as we speak. It ultimately will look like this. This is heading southbound on Allisonville Road. Allisonville will go under, 146th Street will go over. And again, this is what it will look like when we finish. We started clearing in the fall of and winter of '22. Construction started in March of this year, and hopefully will be completed by 2025. I don't want to disrupt anybody, but we are going to have to shut off Allisonville Road for a period of time. So I know it's going to be an inconvenient, but like the rest of 146th Street rebuilt, if we don't do this now, it's not going to get any better. So we have to have a little pain with our gain, I guess. We will also be expanding the bridge to the west of it. 146th Street corridor I've been talking about for several years now. This is what 146th Street looked like before we started on it. Can you imagine if we hadn't done anything to 146th Street? This is a 17-mile stretch between 69 and the Boone County line. And we have tried, we're trying to talk to the Boone County Commissioners and carrying it on over to 65, so we'll have a connection between 65 and 69. We just finished our last phase of this, which is the west 146th Street. This is what it looked like before. This is what it looks like now. Unbelievable difference. We do have some problem intersections on 146th Street, that being 146 and Cary Road, Gray Road, and Hazeldale. We have a lot of accidents because of all the traffic that we have there. We are in the process of developing a plan to put over-unders at each one of those intersections over the next few years. Pleasant Street corridor. This is actually a Noblesville project. The part the county plays in this is it's our responsibility to build the bridge. But when you look at the traffic, and again, this is a few years older, some of these pictures. I was backed up in this traffic heading east by the bowling alley, clear past Hague Road a few weeks ago. So it's not getting any better. So thanks to our council and our mayor, the city, the county will be replacing this bridge, which is the old railroad crossing bridge. And the city will build a roundabout here at River Road and Pleasant Street. The state's already put a roundabout at Riverview Hospital, and they're in the process of putting a roundabout at River Road and 32. I'm trying to go back. This iron bridge has now been removed and it's been taken down to Conner Prairie, and hopefully they're going to be able to use this bridge as a walk bridge over White River. That's still in discussion. We broke ground on our new bridge in November of '22. This is what it looks like today as we're building it. This is a picture looking east from River Road, a rendering. This is what the roundabout will look like and what the bridge will look like as you're looking east. You see the walkway that will be across there as well. This project started in the winter of '23 and should be finished by November of '24 for the bridge part of it. Potter's Bridge. Potter's Bridge has been an icon for Hamilton County forever. It was falling apart. So we decided to renovate Potter's Bridge, and we put a path from our Parks Department, put a path from Potter's Bridge over to Forest Park, and we started a renovation of Potter's Bridge to upgrade it. Believe it or not, I went across this bridge. This was the main bridge when I was in high school, so we drove across it. But we put a sprinkling system in it, and then we dedicated the new bridge, and that's what it looks like today. This is a 96th Street Bridge. You may wonder why I put this in here. Well, let me show you why. In 1990, there were 4 bridges crossing White River south of Noblesville: Logan Street, Conner Street, 146th Street, and 116th Street. In the mid-90s, we went to Washington with Congressman Burton and pleaded with a congressional committee to give us some money for this bridge because the county had been trying to build a bridge over there for years. They gave us $1 million seed money. We put the money with it and was able to dedicate that bridge in the mid-late 90s. It was a huge deal. It's a huge deal today. Then we started looking for another place to put a bridge. Well, we ended up on Field Drive. This is by the Moose Lodge up there. This is what it looked like before. That's White River. So we built the Field Drive Bridge. And that was dedicated in '03. That's what it looks like today. Then we have the Steve Nation Pathway. For those of you who don't know Steve, Steve was a prosecutor for many years. He was a judge of Superior 1 for many years, and he retired. Well, we talked him into running for the county council, which he did. But Steve has given all of his life to the citizens in Hamilton County. He coached with me on the grinders for 14 years even. So we thought it was only appropriate to honor him by naming this pathway in his honor. We just opened up the section from Cicero to Katawee Park, and that is now complete. And it will ultimately go from Potter's Bridge all the way to the Northern County line. This is when we were breaking ground in '22. And this is the path that's coming from the campgrounds going into Cicero. And you can see Morse Reservoir in the top part of the thing. This is when we were dedicating it in Steve's honor. This is Steve and his family accepting that recognition. So Steve, thank you very much for your lifetime of service. I have to give this lady a lot of credit. This is Brenda Myers, if you don't know her. She is a wonderful person. She heads our tourism bureau. She does so much for this county, it's unbelievable. To give you an example, in 2005, we had 2,400 hotel rooms in Hamilton County. Today, we have 4,900. We entertained about 1.9 million people in 2005. Well, thanks to her promotion and her committees, we have over 6 million this year coming into Hamilton County. They promote all kinds of things in Hamilton County.
In Hamilton County, Indiana, no matter what day of the week it is, the weekend is always on tap. Drink and dine, look and listen, explore and play. Any day of the week. Why wait for the weekend? Visit Hamilton County, Indiana, where the weekend is closer than you think.
So thank you, Brenda, and your committees for doing all of this for Hamilton County. I have a table of executives from the Indianapolis airport that have joined us today. I happen to serve as vice president of the Airport Authority Board. The reason Hamilton County has an appointment on that board is because the Indianapolis Airport owns Metro Airport in Fishers. And because of that, the legislature gives us a seat on the Airport Authority. And this is what our airport looks like. I'm sure all of you know about all the awards the airport have received over the years. And if you've flown at all, you know how wonderful our airport is, thanks to the people that run it. ...2022. It's been an excellent year.
Did you know IND is the only airport to have ever received the best airport in North America from Airports Council International for 10 years in a row?
That's 11 now.
And
'cause
let's
we
not
won it this
forget
year,
about
too.
the 5 J.D. Power Awards our incredible team has won.
So as proud as I am of the airport and the airport authority and the people that operate the airport, we have something that I think is going to mean a lot to a lot of the people in this room. We are in the process of examining building a hotel just outside our parking garage at the airport. To me, that's very important because any of you that fly out, say at 6 o'clock in the morning, what's that mean? It means you get up at 1 o'clock to get ready, to take an hour drive, to be down the airport, to be there 2 hours early. Here, you can come in, you can park your car one time and not get in it again till you come back from your flight. You can bring your luggage inside. You're even going to be able to check your luggage in the hotel without taking it to the airport. So when you get up in the morning, you just need to walk over to the airport, go through security, and you'll be ready to fly. I think that is a huge benefit to everyone that uses the airport. So thank you. Our parks department. Chris, I'm not chiding you, but Chris is the director of our Parks Department. I have a lot of things I could say about our Parks Department because in 1992 we had about 298 acres of land, the parkland. Today, due to Chris and his board and his people, we have 1,807 acres, which is a 506% increase in parkland in Hamilton County. They recently just purchased 107 acres at 116th and Hinkle Road. And, wait a second, go back one. One more. And 129 acres at 206th and White River. So all of that is added to the Parks Department. Katawee Park, I talk about it every year. It's still one of my very favorite. If you haven't been up there, you're missing. And horseback riding, zip lining, fishing. Parks Department and Parks Board do a wonderful job, so we appreciate all the efforts that they put in as well. Let me end up talking about some special projects. Our wastewater treatment facility. Most of you know the state's putting in a new interchange at 236 and 31. It's getting close to completion. Well, where you see the red, we are putting in with ARPA funds mostly wastewater treatment facility and water treatment plant. First phase is about $45 million, with $25 million coming from county ARPA funds, $10 million from state ARPA funds, and $10 million from sewer and water bonds that the council's approved. Phase 2 will be about $20 million. This could revolutionize the northern part of the county because with sewer availability and water availability, already developers are buying up land crazy. The growth from Sheridan, from Cicero, from Westfield, because this is kind of right in the middle of their districts, will be unbelievable over the next few years because of this wastewater treatment plant. Ivy Tech. In 1954, they dedicated the high school here. This is where I went to high school. Senator Kinley and Representative Kathy Richardson, and a lot of you in this room went to school there. Well, we took that high school and we made it available to Ivy Tech. And with the state legislature's help, and Hamilton County contributing, and the city of Noblesville contributing, and Noblesville schools all working together, we won a governmental cooperative award for establishing this as a campus for Hamilton County, and we dedicated that in 2014. They honored the 3 commissioners for helping put that together and their graduation last month with honorary degrees. I'd never received a degree like that, so that was a real surprise to me. But we appreciate all that they do. We've worked out deals with the county and with other businesses for them to do education for people that can't go to college but need special trades in mechanics or whatever it is. They've been a great partner. I want to close by talking about this bridge. This is the old Logan Street Bridge. And it was our job to redo the bridge, which we did, but then we teamed with Noblesville to do this little bump out to tie Forest Hill Park with downtown Noblesville. Well, through the years, we have decided to light that, and it looks like this now, and those lights change depending on the season, whether it's Christmas, Halloween, or whatever. And then the idea to put the Bridge of Flowers came in, and it was brought in by Dick and Margaret Gordon and their family. They went out, convinced both the city and the county to put money in it. They had a lot of donations made towards that bridge, and they wanted to make that a very unique thing for Noblesville and Hamilton County. That's what it looks like today. I thank you very much for your attention today, but one thing before I close. You know, last year, 2 days after preparing for this talk, before the talk, I come down with COVID. So my colleagues, Mark and Christine, you know, I have always had these seagulls in my speeches, and everyone always asks me, what are you going to do with the seagulls? Well, they changed them for me last year, and I just wanted to make it clear, I was not in Mexico. I was sick with with COVID. Thank you, Mark and Christine, for that closing. I just thought I'd show it one more time. Thank you very much for attending today. I appreciate it. I apologize for the delays with the clicking, but I'm glad you all attended today. I hope you enjoyed it.
Some of the success in Hamilton County, and we all should be grateful for each other's contribution to this county. So I think that's important. I think it's on. So thank you very much for being here. We appreciate your support. If you want to catch the rerun of today's presentation and show it to your colleagues at work or your family, Hamilton County Television, later today we'll have it streaming live at 3 p.m. Beginning at 3 p.m. it'll be live. So thank you Hamilton County Tourism for your great support here for today, and for all of our table hosts, thank you so much for joining us and your support as well. And enjoy the rest of the day. Enjoy the 4th of July, and enjoy the bicentennial year for Hamilton County. Thank you.